Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So this past weekend was the KGP Grand Placer event in Grand County, Colorado, up on my gold claim. On very short notice, in the rain, on Labor Day weekend, the worst time to travel, so many of you guys decided to go ahead and come on up there and camp for the weekend. It was awesome. There were so many people there, and it was crazy. I pulled up to the parking lot and there was already so many people in the parking lot, trailers and tents and campers and dogs running around and everything. That was awesome to see that. And a lot of you guys wanted to know if I'm gonna hold this event again in the future. And I'm totally not against that. I just don't want to make any promises, because if I make a promise for next year, then I'll be worrying about it for the whole year. I tend to worry about things like that for unknown reasons. So I'd like to keep it where I like to keep it at short notice. I think that's the better way to do it. It brings a smaller crowd. I don't want a couple hundred people there. The U.S. Forest Service even showed up and said that why is there so many people there? Luckily, we were all compliant, but I don't know. Well, I'll announce it in the future, and we'll probably limit it to like 75 people. That's what the U.S. Forest Service said. I can do 75 people without a special permit. So it'll be first come, first served as usual. So anyway, this video isn't just going to be me talking. It is, well, it is, but we're going to go up to the gold claim today, and we're going to do some crevicing. This past weekend, I found some bedrock, and I did not get a chance to sample it because I didn't have my crevicing tools. So today, we're going to go up there with my entire crevicing set. We're going to get some material. We'll bring it back here to the panning station. We'll pan it out and see what kind of gold we get. I hope you guys enjoy the video. All right, Timber and I made it up to the claim here. It's a couple hours later. We stopped and got some breakfast. Now, we're at the location on my claim that has bedrock. So you can see there's bedrock lining the shore right here. This is a pretty deep pull right here, so it's kind of tricky to get to. So I'm gonna do what I can. I haven't really decided where I want to dig yet, but let me flip the camera around. I'll show you some more details. So we're pretty close to the south end of my claim, which is pretty much those trees right there. And this is where the bedrock starts. It comes along here and it ends right about there. I haven't decided exactly where I'm gonna dig yet. I'm looking for vertical pieces of bedrock. This stuff here looks pretty good, and it looks like there may be a crack in there. But preferably I'd like vertical bedrock. It would be a lot more beneficial, especially if they were perpendicular to the flow of water. I don't see any of that. There are a few crevices that gold could have gotten trapped in, like that one right there. Over here, there's a few spots. Maybe down in here, I could bust that apart. Of course, I can always split these layers and get the material underneath. Now, I'm only expecting to find deposits of float gold, so hopefully we find some good concentrations of that. The reason I don't think we're gonna find any nuggets or anything is because this mountain doesn't have any natural gold. According to the MLRS, you can see that this is Gravel Mountain on this side. All of the gold claims follow Gravel Mountain around to the east. They don't really, there's one or two that go this way, but there's nothing that says that there's natural gold coming from this mountain. So any gold that we find is likely going to be float gold that came from Gravel Mountain, and then when the water rises, it gets deposited all over the place here, including the crevices, hopefully more concentrated there. So I just got to pick a spot. I think we'll try to make our way over there. This is my little Milwaukee vacuum, battery powered vacuum. I've got your basics, just a rock hammer and a pry bar / chisel. I got my regular crevicing tool that I like to use for sidewalk cracks. Gloves. I do also have to fill like 12 buckets of dirt and drag that to the car as well. So I'll be tired. I'll sleep good tonight. All right, we made it over to the bedrock. Right here's a nice piece that I'd like to dig out, and you can see there's some more vertical crevices there. I will be doing my best to recover the material under that. Over here there's another vertical crevice, and right here you can see some tussock moth caterpillars. Let me see if I can get one on camera. Lots of those guys eating that like tea leaf willow or whatever it is right there. So I'm just gonna start out by removing some of this bigger, obvious crevice pieces. Underneath, you can see there's some material down there. Now, all the material under there is going to be the good stuff. This is where the gold gets trapped. And any hard bottom crevices even though these cracks are just like a hairline, you'd be surprised where the gold can actually get trapped. So this is just a chunk of this bedrock that is partially degraded. You can see all these little voids and holes where the dirt's getting into it. That's a great place to find some gold. So right here I have some loose material that would be pretty difficult, if not impossible, to grab with my fingers. So I have my little portable battery-powered Milwaukee vacuum. This thing doesn't work great on completely submerged wet material, but for semi-dry and dry material, this is the ideal tool for me. All right, so here I have some big chunks of bedrock, and I don't want to bring all this home with me to process it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna smash this with a hammer into smaller pieces, because the gold is gonna be trapped in these little hairline fractures anyway. All right, so here I have a small bucket of water. I'm just gonna crack this up into small pieces. Then I'm gonna classify it and only bring home the minus quarter-inch material. Like this big rock, I don't need it anymore. If I smack it with the hammer, all the hairline fractures should give. If there's any gold trapped in there, that'll fall in the bucket. Some of this stuff is pretty degraded bedrock though. As you can see, it's just falling apart like that. Watch yourself. Yeah, because all that gold's going to be trapped in these little hairline fractures like that. You can see there's a lot of mica out here. It's a really shiny piece right there. Interesting. All right, I moved upstream just a little bit, and right here, there's a bunch of crevices. You can see these crevices here, but these ones are actually no good. And you can probably see why. It's because the bottom of the crevice is open. So any gold that ever went in here is just gonna flush out the bottom. But same thing with this one. It might look good from the top, but as soon as you look underneath it, there's really nothing solid under there. Same thing with this one here, right? So we really don't even have to bust those apart. On the other hand, right next to it, we have this crevice. Now gold could flow out of the side, but it has a solid bottom here. I don't know, it's kind of sloped downwards. I don't know if it's worth trying to bust that apart or not. I want to see if I could maybe bust that out of there and get the material underneath. I don't know if I could get that though. It seems pretty solid. I don't know how solid it is up here. All right, been working on it for a few minutes here. And I was able to, I just noticed there's a crack there. I was able to get it in there. Oh yeah. I can at least get this top piece out, I think. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That material right there might have some gold in it. Yeah, all this stuff that's packed in here next to the natural crack, I'm gonna scrape what I can, get the rest with the vacuum. And continue the mission here. I'm gonna try to bust this whole thing out. That'll come right, that should come right out of there. It's not easy, but that's why gold's so expensive. I'll clean this up really good, vacuum it all up, and move to the next crevice. I'd like to have at least that little red bucket full of bedrock crevice concentrates for the video. I'm chasing these really fine vertical hairline cracks. You can see they're deep enough that even seeds can plant themselves in there. So I got my pry bar into this one and I lifted it up. And I'll try to keep the camera steady. I don't know if you can tell, but this whole thing, this crack, this all the way down to here, this all can come up. That crack right there, it's a horizontal crack, so I don't know how much gold could be in there, but who knows, you know, there could be some gold in there. All right, we're getting there. If you can hear me, this is all degraded bedrock, so it's kind of busting apart. But there, I was just able to move this entire thing. Now I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in the bucket, bust it up, and hopefully there's a little bit of gold. Oh yeah, that's all the good material right there. All right, I got to check to see if my audio is okay because I dropped my phone in the water. All right, so after some fighting, I got this one out. I cleaned off the edges as good as I could in there. And now we have this layer of really good concentrated material. You can see that after I cleaned up the walls here and scraped everything, there's another layer of cracks that go below that. So I'm gonna be here for a while. it probably stops here, I would guess, but who knows? I'm gonna keep going until I get about a bucket of material. I'll crush all that up with my hammer, classify it, leave the tailings here. By the way, if anybody wants to rent my claim, it's 25 bucks a person per night. You can go to kleshgold.com and sign up if you want. Also, there is bedrock underwater here, and there's some deep pools all along here. So this is actually another spot to come for a future video to kind of snipe that bedrock to see if I can find any nuggets. All right, as you can see, it looks a lot different. I was able to keep taking layers of that stuff out. It is cleaned pretty much all the way down to the rock. Yeah, I could keep going, and if I find gold in this bucket of material, then yes, I can come back and I can continue crevicing this. I can get all this. I mean, there's a ton of bedrock out here. It goes all the way along. So anyway, I'm gonna take this back to the shop. We'll pan it out and see what kind of gold we get. So, spoiler alert, I went ahead and panned all this down to a small amount of material. These bigger pieces are just like sandstone that I want to break up a little bit better. So as I was panning this down, I was spinning it back to see if I found any gold, and I only saw like 3 pieces of flour gold so far. I'll go ahead and spin this back and I'll show you that there's not much gold. So at least now we know that in the bedrock here, at least up on the non-gold mountain, there's not much gold. I would bet that the bedrock underneath has nice pockets of float gold in there. Or maybe I just got unlucky, but I would doubt it. I would say don't even worry about crevicing over here. You're gonna find a lot more gold here in the water, up on the gravel bars and everything here at the claim. So I'm gonna finish crushing these up. I will spin it back and I'll show you what kind of gold we got out of that bedrock. All right, probably not even worth showing on camera, but here at my fingertip, little piece of gold right there, and there's another one right up here. Definitely not worth crevicing, at least up high here on this claim. Now, I would still bet that this bedrock underneath, there's plenty of opportunity down there, especially in the lower parts of this deep pool. I'll have to come back out here again with, you know, my yabby pump. Maybe I can even get a dredge out here with the correct permits. So let's go do one sample pan where I know that there's some gold, so we'll at least have something for the video, and we'll finish it up. All right, here I have 12 buckets I have to fill with material for pay dirt bags. So I'm gonna take this stuff down there and we'll do a sample pan just to show you guys some gold. All right, I'm just gonna do one shovelful here. Classify it down. Now the problem is with doing sample pans here is that there's so much black sand. There's so much black sand that it's almost impossible to get 100% recovery while out here on the water. This stuff really should be taken home to be processed, dried out, all this black sand removed with a magnet, and then process it. But I think we could find a little bit of gold for the end of the video here. I'm also just kind of stalling. I really don't want to carry 12 buckets of dirt from here up to the car, but that comes with the territory. All right, this is pretty much all black sand. This is all black sand. So I'm gonna do my best to pan it back. I'm sure there's gold in it. You know what, I'm gonna dump about half of this out and then just pan this smaller amount. All right. I can't believe the amount of black sand up here. It's just ridiculous. All right. Let me come over there. And because of the amount of black sand, like I said, this is not recommended. I'm definitely missing gold. It's coming down with the black sand. I kind of just want to see some for the camera. Okay, I see a piece of gold up there in the black sand. Right there, it's a flake. I know it's hard to see, but there's a nice little flake right there. This is one shovelful, just from the surface here. Just one flake of gold there. I'm still panning it back. I get anywhere from 0 colors to 10 colors per shovelful on this claim, depending on where I'm at, depending on how lucky I am. I think that's all we got. There's a couple pieces of flour gold at the very top. Really small gold up here. All right, everyone, thanks for watching my video. So at least now I know that crevicing that bedrock, there's really no gold in it. You know, that I knew there would be some float gold in it, but I thought there would be a lot more. So it's much more productive to just pick a spot, dig a hole, and that's where you're gonna find your gold. I had a ton of people here over the past weekend sample panning the entire claim, and people were getting up to 10 colors per pan. So I think that's the way to go on this claim. Anyway, I just wanted to do that one shovelful just to show you guys how much gold is in one shovelful. And we got a nice little flake there, so I'm really happy with this place. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you want. Now I gotta drag like 12 buckets of material out of here, so I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks everyone for watching my video. If you're still here, you're one of the 42% that actually watched the whole thing, so I really appreciate that. Also, a big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members on the screen. And if you like this video, you're going to like the other ones linked here on the screen as well. And thanks for watching.